Welcome back to Roseburg Speakers and Storytellers. Yay! I don't know, I'm in a jolly mode today, very happy. Especially, we have a bunch of you. Logan is here, welcome. And
Thank
as
you.
usual, my job, Logan, is just to say the housekeeping rule, meaning everybody need to be muted when they are not speaking, and just make sure that you are turn on your audio when you need to speak so we can hear your voice, right? Okay. With that, I would like to hand over to our lovely president, Yasmin Tawala.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Good evening to some of us. 13th March 2023. Interesting. March is interesting, and the date is all the more interesting, and the day of the week is all the more interesting. 13th March 2023, the Monday, another meeting of Roseburg speakers and storytellers, welcoming you all. Some of the senior most guests, some new guests. Lagon, you are welcome. You are new to our meeting. You are joining us first. You are new to Toastmasters, but we are very happy that you are here with us. Lydia, it's hard for me to welcome you as a guest. I do believe that you are part of our RSS family, but you are very welcome. And what should I say for Stephen? He holds the crown for the senior most guest always. So welcome, Stephen.
Maybe I should join, right?
Yeah,
Always senior guest.
Right. We have all met earlier today because of the change in timing at Roseburg. But I'm glad that many of us could actually make up to the time difference, and we are already here, including Tiger, who might have had skipped his official English lesson to classes to be here in the meeting. I'm just eagerly waiting for our meeting today because the theme is very, very close to my heart, and I'm very glad actually, and I feel privileged to introduce the Toastmaster of the day, who has really chosen this theme, which I strongly and personally believe is really important. She is our Vice President membership, but this is a very small identity of hers. She is a very talented and seasoned Toastmasters. We always know her as someone whose presence makes us feel very comfortable because she always gives a smile, feedback, and we just, whenever we are nervous, we look where Mary is and we gain our strength. Yes, you guessed it all right. It is Mary. Mary, please take it over as the Toastmaster of the day. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mary.
Thank you so much, Yasmin, for that wonderful introduction. And our theme of today is Go Green. But contrary to what most of you believe when you see Go Green, what do you think? Conservation, right? Keeping the planet green. But there's actually a very important event happening this week that I came up with the theme Go Green. And that is, it's St. Patrick's Day on Friday. So if you have any Irish blood, it's a big party day for you. So I will mix both themes, some St. Patrick's Day facts and some conservation facts. Let me go over today's agenda. We have two speakers, Stephen Liu. Did I have that right? Yeah.
Stephen will not be here, Mary.
Okay, so he's not going to speak today. Okay. And then Lydia. Lydia, are you going to be speaking today? Where is she? Oh, wonderful. Lydia, could you give me the title of your speech?
It is Neurodiversity in the Workplace.
Wow. You have a a brand new person who has no idea what that means. So anything I learned today will be news to me. So I look forward to that. Okay. We have her evaluator will be Ravi. Is that right? Or is Ravi? You'll be evaluating her. Okay, wonderful. Our table topics master will be Yasmin. Is that correct? Okay. And I like that people put their titles in front of their name. If you did not do that and you have a role, that would be helpful. We have as our grammarian, Michelle Albalim will be serving as our grammarian today. Our counter will be Ayu. And our timer will be Titin. And she's all ready to go. She's got the timing right up there. I'd now like to, and our general evaluator, a very important person, is our general evaluator. Do we, who is the GE? I didn't have that.
Tiger.
Tiger. Oh, Tiger. Tiger, I'd like to pass the meeting on to you so that you can introduce your evaluation team. Tiger, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mary. So first of all, let's hear from our counter. All the way from Bali. No, from Surabaya. Did I say that right? Ayu.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Today, I will be serving as your counter, and I will look carefully or listen carefully to filler words that we use during the meeting, like repeated word, maybe long pause. Do you want me to count some left? So, some club has that and ha counter, joking around. Okay, that's my job, and I will report at the end of the meeting when called upon, Mr. Tiger. Thank you.
Mr. Tiger, how about that? You know, like that was good, Ayu. Thank you. Grammarian Michelle, give us a lowdown on what you're going to do for us today.
Soon as I can, there, I've unmuted myself. Okay, as the grammarian, I will be watching for good uses of the English language and maybe some uses that could be improved. In other words, the gems and the germs, so to speak. I will also provide the word of the day unless Yasmin or the Toastmaster has already chosen one. If not, then the word of the day is in keeping with our theme. The word of the day is verdant. Verdant is an adjective. It means green in tint or color. So it can be green, meaning green like plants. It can also be unripe in experience or judgment. So green, like a greenhorn, or somebody who is green, meaning not yet experienced. Or you will often see when in the recycled bins, it's green because it is for recycling. So verdant, try and use it as an adjective, or you can use it as a noun, verdant. So either of those will work. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much. So everybody try to use verdant, as in Yasmin's background is verdant. I think that's correct usage. We'll find out. Our timer, Titan, would you like to give us a short introduction about the timing today?
Thank you, GE. Yeah, Tiger. Good morning, afternoon, evening, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. I'm Titin. My role today as the timer is to keep time for all the speakers to ensure that everyone speaks within their allotted time slot. And excuse me for not turning on my camera this time, as I'm turning on my OBS timer for this meeting. And for the lights, the verdant color will, okay, I just learned this new vocabulary from our grammarian. Okay, the verdant color will appear on the screen when the speaker hits the qualifying time, yellow when the speaker hits the target time, and red when the speaker has reached the end of their allotted time. For example, for a 5 to 7 minutes prepared speech, the verdant color will appear on the screen at the 5th minute, yellow 6 minute, red color 7 minute, and the speaker will be granted a grace period of 30 seconds. Table topic speeches 1 to 2 minutes. Verdant color at the first minute, yellow 1.5, red at the second minute. And the speaker will have 30 seconds grace period after 2 minutes to wrap up his or her speech. Evaluations 2 until 3 minutes. Green color will appear at the screen at the second minute, yellow 2.5, and red at the third minute. Grace period 30 seconds. I will present my report when called upon by the general evaluator. Thank you. Back to you, Tiger.
Thank you, Titan. And by the way, I would like to welcome Stephen and Logan, who are our guests today. Table Topics Master, I'm sure will include you guys, so be aware, stay alert. And at that, I will turn it over to Mary, our Toastmaster of the day. It's all yours.
All right, thank you, Tiger, and thank you to your evaluation team for explaining their roles today. My role as a Toastmaster today is to lead the meeting and to introduce the speakers and the Table Topics Master and General Evaluator. Before I introduce our speaker, I wanted to give some fun facts about St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day was named after a person they called St. Patrick. Fun fact, he actually isn't a saint. They just gave him that because he seemed like a saint, but he actually was never canonized in the Catholic Church as a saint. Another fun fact, he isn't even Irish. He was born in Britain. How did he get to Ireland? A pirate hijacked him and sold him into slavery in Ireland. So his first introduction to the country of Ireland was a very negative one. He left later, he was able to be freed, and he went back to Britain and studied Catholicism, became a Christian and studied and began preaching. And then he came back to Ireland to preach the Catholic religion to the country, to those in Ireland. One of the things that they're saying he was most known for and why they made him a saint is they said that the country was overrun with snakes and he drove them out with his cane. People that study and look at fossils and stuff said that's not true. There weren't any snakes in Ireland. They've never found a fossil. So that's apparently a legend, but that's what he's known for, is driving the snakes from Ireland. That really didn't happen. Why aren't we sure about this? Because it was a really long time ago. He actually died in 461 AD, about 1500 years ago. Another fun fact, you would think we celebrate St. Patrick's Day because it's his birthday. No, we celebrate it because it's the day he died. He died on March 17th in 461. And it was a religious holiday. So people would go to church on March 17th and then they would celebrate after his thing. So fun facts, I have some more fun facts later. That'll get you started thinking about that crazy St. Patrick. Our speaker today, we're very excited. We're going to learn something new. Neurodiversity in the workplace. Please help me welcome Lydia Norman, and her evaluator will be Ravi. Again, Lydia Norman, speech title, Neurodiversity in the Workplace. Lydia, the floor is yours.
A majestic eagle circles in the skies above when suddenly she spots her target, a tasty fish swimming in the waters below. She swoops down to pluck the fish from the water when suddenly, goggles on her eagle eyes, flippers cramping her sharp talons, and a bulky airbag way down her back. As she's plunged into the waters below, she hears a voice. You are now a catfish. She looks around to see herself surrounded by fish, catfish. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and my fine feathered friends, I'm that eagle. And this is my experience as a person with a cognitive disability in the workplace. But wait, you don't look like you have a disability. But what does a person with a disability look like? And what happens when a person doesn't fit what others believe that a person with a disability should look or act like? Come along with me back to the year 2000. My children were just diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which basically affects impulse control, attention, and behavior. Mrs. Norman, you also have ADHD, but you got A's and B's in school, so it didn't affect you. Great, I thought. I was in the final year of my 4-year accounting degree, and as usual, I was getting A's and B's in school, so I never pursued getting an official diagnosis. I went on to have a successful career in accounting, or so I thought. I never really had any problems other than quickly getting bored with the jobs after 6 to 12 months and moving on to my next challenge. So I never thought anything was wrong until the job. Now, the job was actually my dream job until 10 weeks later, when my favorite boss left the company, leaving me to bounce for the next year between manager to manager to manager to manager until manager number 5. Now, manager number 5 was a challenge because he expected me to approach my work the same way that he would. That caused my anxiety to flare as our work styles clashed. And like most people with high functioning impairments, I tried to self-medicate. My drug of choice, caffeine. My manager and my coworkers had no clue that when I said, I'm going to Starbucks to get a coffee, it was actually code for, you're driving me nuts and I need to have coffee to cope. But like most drugs, the coffee was no longer enough. I went to manager number 5. That didn't help. So then I went to HR. Well, why don't you ask your boss for less work? Less work? I searched online to find suggestions that I could bring into my manager to help him support me better. We are not going to do anything for you until you bring in support from a doctor. And then the unthinkable happened. They put me on a performance improvement plan. Achiever. That caused me to have a nervous breakdown. For 8 weeks, I took off work. during which time I did go to the doctor and I got those suggestions that I brought back to HR. Oh, I wish that I could go home when the boss got on my nerves. They mocked them. And at that point, I knew I would have to leave the job. For the next year, I searched with no luck to find another accounting job. I couldn't even look at an accounting ad without the tears streaming down my face. I felt like such a failure. Were all my successes just a fluke, my imagination? But then I had an epiphany. I'm going to go back to school and get my master's degree. I'm going to help workplaces support their employees with cognitive disabilities better. That was the best decision I ever could have made. Because not only did I get another official diagnosis of mild neurocognitive impairments, which basically means that my brain works a little bit differently, I also found myself surrounded with other people who had received diagnosis of Asperger's, a high-functioning form of autism. I was one of the 70 to 80% of people diagnosed with ADHD who were actually autistic. Australian professor Tony Atwood stated, people do not suffer from autism. They suffer from the bullying and the teasing that result from the attitudes and the ignorance of others. I am an eagle. And how can I fully embrace my abilities if I am bullied into wearing things that make me into something that I am not? And yet, I'm the one who has a disability. Why can't employers instead support all of their employees, whether they are eagles or catfish? Let's discuss this. How can we make workplaces better for all? Will you join me? Back to you, Toastmasters.
Outstanding speech. Thank you. I did learn what your neurodiversity. Never would have realized that that's what it was. Thank you, Lydia, for that very educational and informative one, and definitely sharing your own personal stories about it. Touched me. I turned my camera off because I was drinking my coffee, but I was listening intently to you. Before we go on to table topics, I would like to give you a few facts about the other Go Green theme, which is a Go Green initiative that was started with the mission of protecting children's needs today and tomorrow to improve the environmental factors impacting children's daily lives and ensure a healthy environment for the future. And these are the following areas that the Go Green initiative is targeting: energy, water, food, recycling and waste, and sustainability. So this other theme of Go Green is working to keep our planet safe and healthy for not only us, but future generations. So either of those themes work for the Go Green. Now I'd like to call upon our table topics master to lead the impromptu portion of our meeting. We're happy and delighted to welcome Yasmin Telawala, our Toastmaster, our table topic master of the day. The floor is yours. Remember, for word of the day is verde, right? Verdant, meaning a color green. Over to you, Yasmin.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. I'm given the choice to pick up between the two Go Green, and I will choose the later. How do we green our planet? or how do we green our life? Because those are two connected things with for me. I have a room of talented, experienced, wise people, and I would actually like to listen from you, your thoughts about making the planet green. I have a couple of topics prepared for our guests, Logan in this case. In the table topic session, I will provide one topic and people will speak impromptu, meaning without having practiced a speech, they will just speak as to what comes. But the speak is structured. It has an opening, it has a body, and towards the end, there is a conclusion. Most of the time, the good way to present a table topic is to relate it with a personal experience. So present a personal story. These are some of the tips to make table topics effective, and I encourage you all to do that, besides using the word of the day, word day. The timing for table topics, as usual, is 1 to 2 minutes, and our timer will be using the flashcards to alert us as to when we have to start thinking of wrap up, when we should wrap up, and then the 30 seconds of grace period. I would like to go, I'm just going to pinpoint, I'll present the topic first and then choose one of amongst us to speak about it. And I will be rude in the sense I might just put you on spot. So be prepared. It could be any of you, but I know you all are seasoned, experienced Toastmasters. You don't mind me being rude. It's very simple. The 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Which of these 3 R's you believe is most important and why? Of the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, and recycle, which one you believe is most important and why? I would like to invite Michelle as the first speaker to share her views on this.
Okay, my mouse is having problems with unmuting. Yes, thank you. Which of these 3 words, reduce, reuse, recycle, is most important? For me, it's neither. It's not one or the other, because even if you look at the recycle symbol, I think it is something like an intertwined different links. I feel that if you reduce, one of the ways of reducing is by reusing things. So you're reducing the use of new things and then you're recycling them. So really they go together. And here in the Philippines, I am amazed, for example, at how people are so creative in very simple ways. For example, you will see plastic water bottles. You don't see them ever thrown, or you don't see them like in the West where they're brought to a recycling plant and they're recycled. I see them here used in various ways as ornaments. You see them as lanterns, as lamps. You see them as planters, as fillers for gutters, where you have blocks of the water bottles filled with sand so they can serve as like ballast. There's so many uses. I wish I had some pictures to show you. But bottom line, it's not a choice between is it recycle, reduce, or reuse. It's all of these working together. And people need to have a verdant mindset. They need to use their imagination so that they can help with conservation. And right now, I cannot see the timer, so I don't know what time it is, but I hope I'm wrapping up on time, that these 3 words work together, whether it's going green as verdant green, or whether it is conservation green, so making the planet go green. Come to the Philippines and see how people are doing it without so much words, just action. Over to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
So true, Michelle. So true. Communities and local people doing it without words, but just action. So true and so powerful. I can vouch for the experience from local communities in India. Even my own family, like my parents, my mother and grandmother, where they will make use of one commodity to the best. They will just reinvent the ways of using it. And I see it as very strongly sustainable way of living life. So reduce, reuse, recycle are intertwined.
Yasmin, you're on.
Oh my God. I was talking and not realizing I'm muting. Absolutely sorry. Absolutely sorry. I just said I agreed in Michelle in totality that local communities do things, they put attention on action rather than reusing the word, and recycle, reuse, and reduce are intertwined. We should not be seeing it in exclusion to each other. Here is my next theme: what it means to you when you see it mentioned anywhere. Stop buying bottled water. What does this mean to you when you see stop buying bottled water? May I invite Stephen to take this up, to share his thoughts on this?
Stop buying bottled water. Wow. Why do we have to stop buying bottled water? Because our planet, I saw some documentaries on this TV. All these beautiful animals died. And when we open their body, we see a lot of plastics inside their bodies. It's very tragedy. So I think one of the cause or one of the reasons is because we drink too many bottled waters. This is why we should reduce the use of bottled waters. Instead, we should go verdant. We should use cups. We can carry, I mean, it's very easy for us just to carry a hand-like cup. We carry it everywhere. We drink water and by that bottle. So this is one thing. Another thing is bottled water is also not very good for health, because the chemical, the particles or the components. I read some articles. It says, this plastic stuff will not be digested in your body. So it's very harmful for your health. Overall, stop buying bottled water is good for the planet and also good for your health. So I think we should stop buying bottled water and go verdant and tell everybody else to go verdant. Back to you, Table Talking Master.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Very wise. First, start with us, stop reducing, and then preach. Let others know that they can and they should do it. And reason being simple, for the health of the planet and for our own health. Thank you so much, Stephen. Was I again muted? No, right? No. Okay, so here is my next topic. What comes to your mind when you see bring your own reusable shopping bags? What comes to your mind when you see bring your own reusable shopping bags? Ravi, would you like to take this up?
Sure. Thank you, Yasmin. What comes to mind when I see the topic, bring your own reusable shopping bags? Well, to be honest, just this past weekend and the weekend before that, I did go out shopping once with someone in the family and another time with a friend. And both times I did carry two huge green colored shopping bags with me, made out of cloth. And that's what this instantly reminds me of, is to always have a shopping bag with me at all times. In India, what I've seen is when you walk into a store, in most cities, plastic bags are a thing of the past, or even if you do want to get a plastic bag, you're required to pay quite a hefty amount of money to get that plastic bag. That is helping us from breaking the habit of using plastic. Now, instead of me even paying a hefty amount for a piece of plastic, which is not going to decompose anytime soon, or maybe pay just a nominal fee for a paper bag, I decided that it's much better that I carry my own shopping bags when I go shopping. And also I do my best to carry a water bottle as well with me when I go shopping or anywhere for that matter. And that way I help do my small bit for the environment. Now, one of my friends who was visiting me from outside of India, when he and I were shopping, he said, "What do you need these bags for? Aren't they going to give us a bag in the store?" Now, he's the kind of guy who likes to collect those bags and then show them off to all of his friends. Hey, you know what? This is where I went shopping. Well, you can only do that for so long, after which, especially if it's a paper bag, the bag is going to tear into a million pieces and you won't be able to use it anyway. And which is why the bag that I have is actually something that I got, I think, about 8 years ago when my parents were visiting me in Atlanta. And it's the reusable bags from Barnes and Noble. And I really love the writing that they have on them. And there's a cartoon on it. It says, I think it says Catch 22 and Barnes and Noble on the side. So that's something, that's my way of showing off the fact that, hey, I do have a reusable bag. It's green in color and you can do that as well yourself. Back to you, Yasmin.
Thank you so much, Ravi. You make us proud by using the reusable bags. And actually, you charged everyone because I could see the reusable bags being shown off on the screen. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Lydia. That is such an encouragement to see that we all value the use of shoppable bags. And Ravi, you rightly said, why to promote the advertisements? Rather promote the theme we wish and use the reusable bags. Logan, are you comfortable to take the next table topic?
Logan 能来吗？下一个你把你那个关一下 ，mute 那个 unmute 一下，你静音了。
Yeah. Are you comfortable? Feel free. It's gonna be very simple and easy topic, and don't hesitate. You can just say where you feel, really think about it. So my question to you is this: what would you do to connect with nature, or how do you connect with nature?
如何跟大自然链接啊？讲一下。
太难了，史蒂芬。
随意。
Am I audible?
Yeah, I think there's connection issue, right?
Yeah, I have a, no, it's me. I think there's problem at my end.
Okay.
Okay, could you get the question? The question is, what would you do to connect with nature?
Logan 听懂了吗？如何跟大自然链接 ？Where's Logan? He dropped or?
No, I see him.
我完全没有准备
随便说一点啊，你想到哪里说到哪儿，锻炼身体都可以，随便。
Logan, 加油！
Well, I am very sorry that tonight is the first time for the past 16 years to open my mouth So I'm very nervous. And I did not prepare this. It's very hard for me.
Yeah, maybe
describe.
Logan prepared introducing himself. He prepared. Maybe let him introduce himself.
Oh, wow. That's
Logan,
that's a
introduce
pleasure.
yourself.
We'll get
Yeah.
to know about you. Yeah, Logan, please introduce yourself.
Okay, maybe the only thing I can do is to introduce myself. My name is Logan, English name, and from China. And I am a CG designer for 15 years. And I work for myself. I'm very nervous because I did not speak English for more than 16 years. Stephen is my best friend. We go back for a long time, more than 20 years. And I heard a lot about the Toastmaster Club from him. So very successful, Stephen introduced me here. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you, Logan. We are so happy that
you.
you are here with us. And actually, I thought you were 16 years old, but okay. I now take it that you have not spoken English for 16 years. I have to say you are very brave to come to an English speaking club. So we really, really appreciate that you are here with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let's get going. I
may try next time. I may try next time.
Just keep that spirit. Just keep that spirit, Logan. That is the thing. If
Thank
you think
you.
you will, then you will. Thank you. Aha, here is my next topic. What comes to your mind when you think about composting your food waste? Compost your food waste. Okay, is Lydia showing the excitement and she wants to take the topic? Okay, cool. Lydia, go ahead. Please take it over. Share your thoughts on this.
So composting my food waste is something that I actively do. You would be amazed at how much you reduce the volume of your trash by taking out things such as fruit peels, vegetable peels, eggs, things of that nature that can actually be put into compost along with paper products, because to make the proper balance of compost, which you can actually do at home, you have to combine greens, verdant, and browns. So having the proper balance is what creates black gold or compost that then you can use to fertilize your gardens, which is something that I have a passion of doing. And I was so excited when I got my new apartment that I have a nice patio where I will be able to grow tomatoes and other plants that I prefer to have. And I do have a verdant bag that I use to combine my food waste and greens and browns to create beautiful compost. That is my contribution. Back to you, Table Topics Mistress.
Yeah, doesn't she need a round of applause for what she has been doing? Not just, making compost out of the food waste, but also sort of using it for gardening. I have supported several farmers and we have provided like big pits in which you have all the organic waste as well as earthworms to make the compost. It works very well. But I have to confess that I have personally never done it in my homes, but I have seen and actually encouraged run projects in the field where farmers do use it, and their knowledge about composting is incredible. Thank you, Lydia. I sincerely appreciate your passion. And here it is. Eat at home and reconsider your food storage. What comes to your mind when you think about it? Eat at home and reconsider your food storage. Are you? Not that you are very foodie, or not that I think you are foodie, but would you like to share your experience of if you have been considering eating at food and how do you store food?
I actually do not understand. We consider your food storage. I don't really understand that sentence. Eat at home, I know. What does
Okay.
it mean? We consider your food storage.
Okay, so it goes more like a food storage. Sometimes we tend to store food, like bring in food and just store it in the system. It's like you have to use a lot of energy to store food. You could have alternative ways of storage. For example, you could have, I know in mountainous system, people use, snow outside to store the potatoes and grains and stuff like that. But basically it comes down to eating fresh. That's why it's meant here, because we tend to use a lot of energy in storing food. So is it a good idea to store food, or we should be preferring eating fresh food?
Well, in Indonesia, the government start and encourage people to, since the pandemic, I believe that we did it, I did it, or my father also did it long time ago. We plant functional plant. So we plant only flowers. That like in Bali, we plant only praying flowers, so we can use that for pray. Or we plant like cucumber, fruits, vegetables. We just do that. We don't do other stuff. That is actually our food supply if things happen. I mean, if we cannot, like during the pandemic, you cannot get out, or there is no food supply or everywhere, you can just go there. But this is not just during pandemic. We did this, or we do this since forever ago. So we can just go and pick up our own fresh fruit. And this is actually rewarding, very rewarding, when you see it's blooming and you wait for that to ripe. And when you climb, or when you try to have it, that is actually so much joy, especially if you have leftover. Because your friend, your neighbor will every day go, Ibu, I also want that. And that joy is just, and there is no word it can compare to that kind of joy of sharing what we have. But actually we do nothing, especially in my house in Bali. We don't need to water again. We don't need to do anything. It's grow like that. So it's so rewarding. So yes, eat at home, it's better. And for storage, I don't really store anything. I just have like 1 day or 2 days. But the thing is, sometimes, of course, sometimes we have some canned stuff ready just for like the earthquake or the volcano. That's always, sometimes we have something a little bit ready, at least a week, for a week supply. Thank you, Yasmin, for asking that question.
Thank you, Ayu, for sharing how much rewarding it feels when we grow our own food and have it fresh. And I think you touched the heart of the matter. It's like for emergency, storing food for emergency need is important, but we should be thinking about if we are just storing food and many times not even utilizing it. Another way, if you would see in the old like the old native communities, when the freezers or refrigerator or heating system did not exist, they had ways. For example, pickles, they will store it in oil and salt, the saline way of conserving and enriching the food. So the whole idea is if we could rethink of how much energy is getting utilized and how we could go ahead and make the earth green with our choices. We'll have one last question. I believe time will permit me for having one more table topic, and therefore I'm going ahead. And the person who is looking at me is going to get this one. Okay, I excuse you because I want to hear the experience from Indonesia on water conservation. Titin, would you like to share as to how important is water? Do you have water deficit? And if so, what measures are being taken to conserve water in your city or in your country?
Thank you so much for this question, okay, Toastmaster Yasmin. Conserving water. It is very rare in Jakarta, in the city where I am living, that we lack of water or clean water. Usually we get a stable supply of clean water at our homes. So for conserving water, I believe, yes, we do that. So we just use water as much as we need it, and we do not waste water. And sometimes we also reuse the water. Let's say, okay, we have used it for washing vegetables or fruits, and we can use that water again. Okay, however, we don't put so much effort in conserving water. As long as I remember, yeah, we are lucky, we are fortunate that we do not have any problems with the shortage of water or clean water in our place. And we can also store the water in ample amount usually at the rooftop of our house, just in case the clean water is not distributed to our house. It can last for several days. So we can have this supply of clean water for several days because we have stored it at the rooftop of our house. Well, this question will, is a wake-up call for me that we need to conserve water, even though there is no problem with clean water in my place. And yeah, thank you for this nice question, nice reminder for me. Okay, back to you, Yasmin.
Thank you so much, Titin, for putting in that perspective that even though today it seems to be in abundance, it's a resource and it's a limited resource. So we need to understand that somehow we should put our efforts towards conservation. May I just get a quick raise of hand as to how many of us have had or the city do face the problem of water shortage? Okay, just three of us. Okay, this comes to me as a surprise because I do believe, and I believe the data would support what I'm saying, that many countries do face severe water shortage, and water crisis is going to be something that we need to tackle much more seriously than we do now. I'm really thankful to all of you for sharing so beautiful thoughts and insights into the subject, which I'm really passionate about, and I really learned a lot from you all. Thank you so much, and I'm going to give it back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Excellent table topic questions and also replies. I hope we raised an awareness today of conservation and going green, or verdant, any version of the color green. I want to quickly welcome some guests that came in during the meeting. Welcome, glad you're joining us. I don't know if the time difference caused a problem with you. In the United States, we had daylight savings time yesterday and we turned our clocks ahead. So sorry about that if that was a reason that you might have come on late. Couple more facts. Our theme today is Go Green. And we're celebrating two things. One is St. Patrick's Day that the United States and Ireland celebrate on March 17th on Friday, and Go Green from the conservation. I have a few more St. Patrick's Day facts before I turn it over to our general evaluator. St. Patrick's Day is kind of funny because the person that it was named after actually wasn't named St. Patrick. His name originally was Mywin Sukit, but when he became a priest, he took the name of Patrick, and that's why it's called St. Patrick's Day. One of the big things, part of a St. Patrick's Day is a parade, the St. Patrick's Day Parade, celebrated in many cities in the United States. It's actually not an Irish tradition. It started in the United States. When all the Irish immigrants came to the United States, they started it, I think they said 1942, they had their first St. Patrick's Day Parade. But I thought that was funny. It doesn't even originated in Ireland. The shamrock, a verdant green flower, or it's a green plant, I guess. That's the national flower in Ireland. Why did the shamrock become a national flower? Well, and how it's associated with St. Patrick. It's said that when St. Patrick preached to people, he used the shamrock, which is that little 3-leaf green flower, as his illustration of the Holy Trinity, of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So the 3-leaf shamrocks became associated with St. Patrick's and again became the national flower. The last thing, what do many people think of when they think of St. Patrick's Day? Verdant beer, green beer. We dye our beer green on St. Patrick's Day to bring out the color. But originally, St. Patrick's Day was a dry holiday. You were not supposed to drink on St. Patrick's Day because it was a religious holiday. But later, probably us Americans probably brought it into fad that we're going to make it a celebration. We're making it a drinking day. So that was an interesting fact that actually St. Patrick's Day used to be a dry holiday. Last interesting facts. Why do we wear green? The myth is we wear green because we don't want to get pinched. The legend is leprechauns cannot see green. So if you wear a different color, they'll pinch you. So if you wear green, you're invisible to the leprechauns. It became a thing in the United States, at least, that if you're in public and you don't have green on, someone can pinch you. So even people that aren't Irish sometimes wear green because they don't want to get pinched. That's why we wear green. In conclusion, the last one, leprechauns. They're those nice little men that have a pot of gold and they're at the end of the rainbow. Leprechauns are only males. There's no such thing as a female leprechaun. How are little leprechauns created if they're all male? Something to ponder. That concludes my facts for St. Patrick's Day. Now let me turn it over to our general evaluator to discuss the evaluation portion and get his reports from his team. Over to you, Tiger. The floor is yours.
Is anybody else confused as to why Americans would celebrate a guy who used a fake name, who lied about chasing snakes out of Ireland? I think it's all about excuse to drink green beer. That's what I think it is. And I've drank green beer, and let me tell you, it tastes a whole lot like regular beer. It just looks like crap. It's verdant. What can I say? All right, let's move on to the evaluation part of our meeting. Ravi, what do you got for us, for our speaker?
Before the timer begins, I just want to point out that my background, I've changed it. This is from Chicago. On St. Patrick's Day every year, they actually color the entire river, or at least whatever part of it flows through the city, they color it green. And I had a fun time wearing beads that were all green, wearing shirts that were green, walking around. I wasn't drinking green beer as far as I remember, but I did everything else there. So that was a fun time that I had. And that's why I also brought out a green book bag. Now you can't see it. Well, there it is. So, yeah. All right. Now I think the timer can begin. All right. Thank you. Neurodiversity in the workplace. That's a wonderful topic to select, Lydia. And even though it might seem that some of us may have heard it before, I think we can listen to it again and again and again because of the manner in which you've delivered the speech. I loved your body language. I loved your use of props. I loved how you had different facial expressions when you're trying to express sorrow or anguish or anger or confusion. I loved all of that. I also especially loved the fact that you did pick a very serious topic, but at the same time, you did throw in quite a bit of humor throughout the speech. So it was not something that was extremely serious that people would sort of be very intensely listening to, but they would also be able to enjoy the humor that you threw in with that speech. All of those parts were really lovely. I also like the fact that even though we are all joined via Zoom, and I've seen this of myself as well, and I've got feedback as well, what I noticed was you yourself were clearly audible. There was not a single word that I missed because of us being behind the internet. So that was amazing as well. I'll steal one sentence from what Ayu might talk about later. I couldn't spot a single filler word throughout your speech, and that really added a lot to make it a wonderful speech. So that, I think that made your eagle soar much higher than it would have. Right? So that was wonderful as well. One other thing that I really loved was you shared your own personal experiences. Now, this took me back to my own experiences and the kind of, if I may call it, bias that I have faced at the workplace as well. May not necessarily be related to neurodiversity, but it took me back to those times. But more importantly, what I took away from what you said is I myself may have been biased towards people just by looking at them and judging them. And that's something that I need to keep in mind not to do. So that's a very good call out that you've made and shared with all of us. The key point that you had asked for your evaluator to keep in mind was that you wanted it to be a strong closing. And I think the closing that you had, where you gave a call to action to all of us on how it is that we can talk about neurodiversity in the workplace, was really good. However, as I mentioned earlier, if you want your speech to soar even higher, just like you have as an eagle, I would maybe ask you to make the audience think about what is it that you would want to do to bring about more awareness in your workplace, rather than just telling them how would you want to go about talking about it. Maybe you can ask them, what steps will you take, or what is that one step you would take to bring about more awareness of neurodiversity in the workplace. Other than that, I don't really think there was anything else that I could spot where your eagle would soar higher. So please continue to give us such wonderful speeches. Please keep coming back to Roseburg, and hoping to hear more from you again and again. Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you, Ravi. I appreciate the fact that you gave her things that she did well and that you gave her a recommendation. However, my recommendation to you would be come up with another word for love, because you said love 7 times. So I would encourage you to think of other words that you could use in place of I love this or I love that. love is not a great adjective for using with a speech, in my opinion. So just think about other ways that you can express what you liked about the speech. The only other recommendation I would give is storytelling. More storytelling in the speech. All right, let's move on to our counter. How did we do today, IU?
I was not working. So that's a good thing because everybody tried to steal my job. But thank you, Ravi. I agree with you. Lydia was clear. So it's a good thing. And some people say it's hard to find or filler words in our essays, but for me, it's good. It's easy. So it's easy or it's hard when there is no filler words. I like when there is no filler words. So congratulations for everybody. I just have one person say in the same time, and that is our general evaluator at the beginning of the meeting. And that's it. Over to you, Michael.
I would never say Let's move on to our grammarian. This is not a verdant grammarian. This is a very experienced grammarian. So we have high expectations.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. I will most likely disappoint your high expectations because as I sat here listening, I was telling myself, who was the crazy person who volunteered to be grammarian? This is one of the toughest roles when you have a club with people who speak English as a second language. I sit and I am amazed at how, even for example, our guest who said he was nervous because he had never spoken English for 60 years, something like that. His English was actually very good. Where are you? I can't see Logan there. I see Logan now. But yes, Tiger, don't you agree? So I realized it was a tougher job than you would think. Very difficult. I found, however, numerous great uses of the English language, the gems, and I tried to take notes, but I probably cannot do all of them. Just give some examples. When Lydia said, where all my success is just a fluke, that was a really good expression. Success is just a fluke. And then, I don't know if I think she quoted it from someone. People do not suffer from autism. They suffer from the bullying of people who are ignorant about this condition. And that is so true. I think, was this Yasmin? But I think it was Yasmin who said, keep that spirit. I love that. Keep that spirit. And then just a change of inflection when you said that is the thing. I loved how you emphasized the thing. Somebody, I think it was Lydia in her table topic, who said black gold. Compost is black gold. I will use that because that is an excellent way of describing compost. It's black gold. And the use of the word balance. Balance is such a beautiful word. Functional plants, not just ornamental, but functional plants. No words for sharing. No words for sharing what the joy of sharing what we grow ourselves. And if you want your speech to soar even higher, like an eagle, these were all beautiful uses of the English language. I did notice a few words, and Tiger already mentioned the word love. And the other word that we tend to use a little bit too much is really. Sometimes we even say really, really, or really, really, really. There might be other words we could use instead of really. There was one, you might say, misuse of the language, and I said of there. Right, rather than ripe, it's actually ripen. And Tiger, teaching English. You said adjective for love. That was not an adjective. That was a verb, my man. It's not an adjective. It's a verb. Yes. Oh, yes, the use of the burden. Yikes, I'm running out of time. But the use of burden. Stephen used it twice. Yasmin, I believe, twice. Ravi, at least twice. Tiger used it at least 3 times. Could be more. Mary, I think you were the top notcher. I think you had 4 or 5 at least. And others had versions using conservation instead of burden. 15, I think, twice. So I'm over time. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Well, Michelle, I really loved your report, except for the fact that we can argue about adjectives and verbs, but that's okay. We can do that another time. Timer report. Titan, give us a report on our timing today.
Yes, so this is my timer's report. Lydia, 7 minutes, 27 seconds. Michelle, 2 minutes, 21 seconds. Stephen, 2 minutes, 8 seconds. Rafi, 2 minutes, 24 seconds. Logan, 1 minute, 53 seconds. Lydia, 1 minute, 33 seconds. Bu Ayu, 2 minutes, 26 seconds. Me, myself, I think 2 minutes, 12. I forgot to record mine. Yasmin, I recorded mine as Yasmin. It was mine, 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Rafi, I pressed the stop button at 3 minutes 31 seconds, but I considered my finger to be late by 1 second. So I believe it was 3 minutes and 30 seconds. That's all for the timer's report. So all of them are speaking within the allotted time. Thank you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Titan, and thank you for putting the times in the chat. Excellent timing. Ravi, one last love, you would have made it. What can I say? I don't have time for a general evaluation, and one of the reasons I don't have time for general evaluation is because our table topics master talked too much. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Mary, you're on mute.
Thank you, General Evaluator, for your evaluation team and all the feedback that we got. I personally enjoyed our tabletop semester. I think she spoke just the amount of time. We did have 2 minutes left if you wanted to put a little jab in there, but I will give us a quick evaluation. I think it was a fun meeting. I loved all the looking green. I definitely have a new word now, verdant, as a way to express the color green. So we learned a lot. We learned about neurodiversity. We learned about conservation. What a great hour and 15 minutes spent. I'll close with just a couple more facts about St. Patrick's Day that I had forgotten to mention. One was St. Patrick's, you would think he'd wear green all the time, but no, he didn't like the color green. He wore blue clothing. All the pictures that they have of him, paintings such, he's wearing blue. So you shouldn't associate it, St. Patrick's, with the color blue. And I forget the last tip, but maybe it'll come in. That concludes my role as the table topic master. I want to welcome or thank all our members and guests for joining the meeting today to help it to make it so successful. I have some guests there that I have not seen before. If you haven't provided us with your email address, I'd appreciate it if you could put it in the chat to me so we can add you to our distribution, make sure you know about future meetings. And I'll now turn it over to our president to ask our guests how they like the meeting and finish out any announcements she has to make. Thank you for allowing me the honor of serving as your Toastmaster today. Have a pleasant day or a wonderful evening, depending on where you are. Over to you, President Yasmin Talawala.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. I think she deserves a round of applause from all of us for the informative theme. The research and the time she had put into putting it all together is so much appreciated. Just on the club announcement, reminder for the renewals if you have had not done it already. With this, I would officially adjourn our meeting for today, but please stay around because we will love to hear from you as to what you feel. So please stay tuned and here